We're shaking, folks. Back with another reaction. Back with some more George Michael. And we're going back to his 1987 album for the famous, though I can't think of it sonically, song I Want Your Sex. Which is to say, this is a song I know by reputation. I've certainly heard of the song before if I haven't actually listened to it. I'm expecting that when it starts, I will recognize it. In the moment, I can't think of any sonic element, not a chorus, not anything. But again, I feel like this is such a significant tune that when it starts, surely I'm going to recognize it. I did notice on Discogs it's shown as being in two parts, and it shows the runtime is like 9 minutes long, so obviously this is a bit of a journey. But yeah, I'm curious, because the first part is shown as either Lust, and then the second part, Brass in Love, but then I also saw it like designated as Rhythm Lust, and then Rhythm Brass in Love. So I'm not sure, but it suggests that there are two phases to the track. I wonder if it will be a very obvious in terms of the audible shift from one part to the other, or whether it'll sort of be like a medley where it sort of blends from one into the other. Either way, I'm curious to hear it, to see if I do indeed know it sonically, or whether somehow I just heard of it and never actually listened to it. But yeah, you know, it's pretty straightforward with what it's about, especially if the first part is called Lust. Now, Brass in Love, again, I would expect there to be brass instruments, but it suggests that maybe it's not just about the visceral and the carnal and the cathartic. It might also be about longer, tenured emotions and potentially, you know, a future with someone, not just the I want your sex. So curious to hear what it'll actually be. Let's find out. This is George Michael, I Want Your Sex, parts both 1 and 2, from the 1987 album Faith. Wow. Lots of little percussive rhythms within the larger beat. And I don't recognize this. Okay. The chorus here sounds familiar. But that opening bit, that did not. And I like the way he was singing all pretty.
Why don't you just let me go?
Sounds sort of like an instrumental bit in a 12-inch mix. A deep and gurgly bass. feel like all the vocalizations in this one have to be evaluated in the context of the title. With whom now? Thank you for confirming. Part 2. We got our brass. Lots of percussion going on. It's giving me like Thompson Twins vibes. It does feel like it shifts to a more deeply emotional coloring. I love that. Bassline just funkin' away. Guitar, and it's got a bit of 70s funk in it. Fading? No? It is. It is, right? It's the slowest fade I've ever heard. unfortunately for the song in two respects. One, if you're gonna fade, definitely do it gradually, and that's one of the more gradual ones I've ever heard. But if you are gonna fade, don't be jamming out and doing some swaggy flourishes on the instruments while you're fading. Indeed, leave the volume up, and then when you're just in a measure loop where it's just the same measure again and again, then do your fade. So, yeah, it's like I was on board with the long fade until we heard some of those little flares right at the end. It's like, wait, if they're doing that, don't cut it. But yeah, really cool tune, a long tune, one that did, demarcate very clearly where the first part ended and the second part started. I like the jazz soul swagger of the second part, and again, a lot of funk in the tune. But I don't know, the first part is, the only part that I recognize is the chorus of the first part, the lust section. But yeah, that part of it like really hits, and again, I love the brass of the second part, but I get why the first part of this would maybe be, if you were going to play like a radio version of it, not the full 9 minutes, maybe you just play the first part. But yeah, top tune, and again, like number one, I'm impressed by his vocal grit and his rasp and his like vocal aggression in parts, and he really does a lot of different vocalizations, whether it's like woohoos up high or like sort of like shouts down low, and he just has a lot of like vocal bravado. It's really cool to hear, and again, only knowing him in a very, very limited sense musically, I imagine there would be twists and turns when it comes to his vocals and performance that I would be surprised by, but it's already happening. We're only a couple tunes in, so yeah, cool track, and one that again, it's on the nose. It's someone who's looking for that visceral experience, and it seems like there's a bit of, I don't know, coaxing. There's a bit of like, hey, come on, like this is the moment, like feel it the way that I am. But then it's funny because like as we get to the second part, you learn it's like he wants it to be a longer thing. He wants it to be an expression of a deeper feeling, not just this like superficial like momentary flash. So yeah, I enjoyed the journey of the song, both sonically and thematically as it hit me. Again, I may be misreading that. I may be hearing parts incorrectly. Do let me know. But yeah, either way, let me know what you think of the song overall. I will see you next time.
Peace.